We'll call the meeting to order and have the roll call by the commission secretary.
Mr. Fiddler,
Here.
Mr. Overland,
Here.
Mr. Love,
Here.
Mr. Burridge,
Here.
Mr. Huckabee,
Here.
Mr. Alexander,
Here.
Mr. Burgess, Mr. Regan.
Here.
Chair declares a quorum present to conduct the business of the meeting. And we'll hear a motion to approve the minutes of the Special Transportation Commission meeting of July the 11th, 2016.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, please vote. Motion passes. We'll hear a motion regarding the consent docket, which is item 105 through 108. If there's any commissioner that would like to take one of these items out and discuss it separately, we'll do so. Otherwise, we will hear a motion on 105 through 108.
Motion approved.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we're ready to vote. The motion passes. We're now ready for Mr. Tigler to present item 109, the engineering contracts.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Item 109 are my engineering contracts. I have 4 parts this month. Part A in Oklahoma County, we've selected HNTB Corporation to provide engineering and construction plans for I-40 Bridge at Post Road and Westminster Road over I-40. This is for $268,340. The project is in our 8-year construction work plan with a scheduled let date of 2022. Part B is also in Oklahoma County. This is, we've selected CEC Corporation to do engineering and construction plans for I-40 over Anderson Road and I-240 westbound ramp on I-40. This is for $842,100. This project is also in our 8-year construction work plan in 2022. Part C is Tulsa County. We've selected Smith Roberts Boulderschwader to provide engineering and construction plans for US 169 over 76th Street. This is for $1,356,700. This project is also in the 8-year construction plan for a FY 2019. And finally, Part D, I have Tulsa County. We've selected Garver Engineering to do the preliminary engineering for I-44 from I-244 interchange going east to the Arkansas River. This is for $1,426,350. Your approval is recommended. Try to answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Mr. Tigler. You've heard the item as presented. What's your pleasure?
Motion to approve item 109.
We have a motion to approve item 109.
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we're ready to vote. The motion passes. Mr. Tigler will continue with item 110.
110, I have 7 parts this month. Part A is McCurtain County, Supplement 3. This is for US 70 with Benham Design for $33,400. Part B is Pottawatomie County, Supplement 2. This is for US 270 over 270B with Aguirre Fields for $13,800. Part C in Kingfisher County, Supplement 1. This is for State Highway 51 over Skeleton Creek with PEC, Professional Engineering Consultants, for $36,215. Part D is Logan County, Supplement 1 for State Highway 33 over Gar Creek with Grossman and Keith Engineering for $168,659. Part E in Dewey County, Supplement 3, this is for US 270 State Highway 3 intersection with Dewberry Engineers for $482,690. Part F, Woodward County, Supplement 4, this is for State Highway 34 over North and South Persimmon Creek with CEC Corporation. This is for $30,000. And finally, Part G, Ottawa County, Supplement 1, this is for US 70 over Horse Creek Tributary with Benham Design for $111,281. All these supplements are in the current 8-year construction work plan, and your approval is recommended. Try to answer any questions if you have any.
Presentation for item 110 has been complete. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve item 110.
We have a motion?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we're ready to vote. The motion passes. We're ready for item 111.
Thank you,
sir.
Commissioner.
Mr. Adkins will present the lettings.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, item 111 consists of the final October and the tentative November 2016 bid openings, and the department recommends approval of item 111.
You've heard the presentation of item 111. We have a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's vote. The item passes. Thank you, sir. Mr. Raymond is ready to present the change orders.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. I'd like to present item 112, parts A through T. These represent the change orders on projects with a cumulative value of $50,000 or less for their change orders. This item is presented for your information only. No action is necessary, but I'll be glad to try to answer any questions that you might have.
Does any commissioner have a question of Mr. Raymond on the change orders less than $50,000? With that, we'll move to the change orders greater than $50,000.
Thank you. I'd like to present item 113, parts A through Y. These represent the change orders on projects with greater than $50,000 cumulative total, and your approval is recommended.
You've heard the presentation.
Motion approved.
We have a motion to approve the change orders greater than $50,000.
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we are ready to vote. The motion passes.
Thank you.
We'll move to item 114, the awards. Mr. Dell.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mr. Chairman, item 114 is our recommendations from the July 21st bid opening. It is recommended that the following items from the letting referred to by call order be awarded. It's call orders 10, 20, 30, 40, 70, 80, 85, 87, 90, 100, 110, 115, 120, 130, 150, 160, 170, 180, 190, 200, 240, 250, 260, 270, 280, 290, 320, 330, and 340. It is recommended that the following items from the letting referred to by call order be rejected. It's call orders 210 and 310 in lieu of the combined project. This concludes the recommendations for award, and your approval is requested.
Thank you for your work, sir. You've heard the presentation of the awards for July 21st.
Make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we are ready to vote. The motion passes. Thank you, sir. And we're ready for item 115. It's the award of the TAP grants by Mr. Schieffer.
Morning, Commissioners. I'd like to bring up on the map here, on the projection here, a map in just a second. This is related to our Transportation Alternatives Program. What we have is a program that's This year is going to have about $22 million worth of projects, sidewalks, trail projects, some enhancement projects in safe routes to schools, and then also some museum-type projects there. We've got two categories, under 5,000 population in the communities, and then a 5,000, 200,000 population. In these, we've, like I say, we've got about $22 million worth of projects, 45 total projects. We had 88 applicants, and we've, with the help of our sub-state planning districts and then also our field divisions, we've pared this down to our 45 projects. We recommend award of these projects. On your table, you have a list of the projects individually and the sites. They are listed by field division for your individual projects in your locations there. Have any questions of us?
You've heard the presentation of item 115. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
We have a
Second.
motion to approve and a second. Any discussion?
Guess I ought to turn on my mic. Thank you, ODOT, and what you guys have done with these TAP programs. I know down in Southwest Oklahoma, we don't qualify for ASCOG money like Oklahoma City and Tulsa. And so these projects are really needed. And we've got a movement in Southwest Oklahoma. It's called the Fit Kids Coalition. I brought a little map with me here where they have, it's been kind of a ground up movement to fight childhood obesity, which is a really bad issue in Oklahoma. And these programs that you guys do go a long ways in regard to helping with that. And we certainly appreciate all that ODOT does in that regard.
This should help. This should help.
Yeah, I would second that. Looks like a great program. How are we doing the grading? How are you arriving at who you're going to give the funding to?
Part of the original call, when we got the applications, we got the sub-state planning districts involved in there to look at what's within your general regions, what are high priority projects for those areas. After they provided their input, we also got with our field divisions, and then our ODOT staff looked at, one of the questions earlier was, what about previous maintenance and previous activities? And that was one of the factors that they did use, is if some of the communities that have received some of this funding in the past, whether they followed up with long-term maintenance, and that was a category that did fall in on that scoring there. The funding was broken down into two different programs, under 5,000 and over 5,000, and there was quite a bit of interest in the over 5,000 population. I think one of the hardest things for the smaller communities is coming up with their minimum 20% match, and that's something that we need to try and help them with for some of these smaller communities or other organizations that were seeking some of this funding. That's something we can try and address in the future. And another issue is that early 2018, we're going to try and go for another call for projects in the next round of this.
And how often does this occur?
Looking at about every 2 years or so, I believe.
And it's federal fund monies that are matched by the local community. So the feds is there a big pot of money that we just happen to get some proportionate, Oklahoma gets some proportionate percentage of, or how does that work?
This is out of the MAPS program, dedicated funding. In the past, there had been enhancement funds and safe routes to schools. This combined those. Another thing that's changing this time is that ODOT is going to administer this program. In the past, we had just provided the money as a grant to the grantees, And then now we are going to help them progress these projects forward from the idea with their selection of engineers, and then ultimately we will do the lettings and oversee the project development for them.
And I would definitely encourage you to do what you can do to handhold or help the smaller communities, as you said, because this kind of money can really make a big difference in a smaller community. I mean, it's an important thing for all, but for a smaller community, you know, it can be a really big deal.
Very, very true.
Do we have any further comments? We're ready to vote. The motion passes. Thank you for that presentation. We are ready for the director and his items, starting with 116.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Item 116 is information only. It's a declaration of emergency for a railroad bridge. It's on a railroad that we own and maintain in northern Oklahoma, in Kay County. At the end of June 30th, I believe, farmer was burning off some of his field, and the fire got out of control and burned our timber railroad bridge. And so we need to replace that bridge so the railroad will remain operational. This railroad is also being looked at and is for sale at the moment, so it's going through a for sale process to return it to the private sector. Current estimate on the project is $80,000, although it may go up a little bit, but it's still within my parameter to issue the emergency declaration, for which I did. Again, that was for informational only. The next item, if I might continue on, Mr. Chairman, is 117, another declaration. On July 25th, Division 7 personnel noticed a bridge over I-35 had been hit. We don't know who hit it, how they hit it, but it's been hit. The beam is bent. So I declared an emergency so that we could begin repairs, and those repairs are beginning today. Should be completed by the end of the week. Have the bridge back fully operational. That's for your information.
Anybody have any questions about those emergency projects?
I did. How often do we do it seemed like we get our bridges hit a lot. How often do we do spot inspections? I'm sure we have kind of an annual or whatever, kind of more formal, thorough, but.
Well, you're right, Commissioner. Every bridge in Oklahoma is inspected at least every other year. Some are inspected once a year, some more often than that, depending on their characteristics. I truly believe that our maintenance personnel in their daily activities are looking for anything that's wrong. Guardrail has been hit, any problems we have with our pavement, and I'm sure every time they go underneath a bridge, they're looking for different components of the bridge that would just come out and be real aware to them. In this case, I believe that's what happened. They could see the bridge beam was bent just on a casual observation, but in the more detailed inspection, that's only once every 2 years.
Do you have any further questions? Looks like we're ready for your report.
Okay, my report this month is going to be short, which is a good thing for all of us. First, I'd like to thank Shannon Sheffer, Mark Scott, particularly Mark, for his efforts on the TAP program. Of taking all those applications in, first getting the awareness out of the TAP program, taking those applications in, getting with the sub-state planning districts which is new for us this year, to have them as part of our evaluation team, and I really appreciate them being involved in that evaluation. And then, once those are evaluated by them, getting the input from our field division engineers, and then ultimately to this point. It's a long process, and I know that there were a lot of people that were interested. Some are in this room. Some of the people who received your grants today are sitting in the chairs behind me, and they really appreciate this project. And the two comments by Commissioner Love, Commissioner Burgess about the impact that it makes, and I know all the commissioners feel that way, that we're making some major impacts in a small way to the communities across Oklahoma. So thank you to everyone involved in that process. The other thing, I've been asked numerous times since the governor announced that there was additional money and there may be a special session. What does all that mean? Well, you recall I reported to you that we had 2 revenue failures during the spring of this year. Actually, they overestimated and the revenue failure, and so the failure was not as great as it was anticipated, so there's additional money. Without a special session, ODOT will receive back $11 million approximately, because the money will just go back to the agencies from which it came. With a special session, I don't think that's the case. Be happy to answer any questions.
Anybody on the commission have anything they need to know from the director?
Yeah, anybody know about a special session? Okay.
We appreciate your update, Director Patterson. And unless you have some other
I have nothing else, Mr. Chairman.
information for us, then we'll hear a motion to adjourn and eat lunch early.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. I think we're ready to vote. Meeting adjourned.